Hey, it's Kyle here, and it's time for a book call. It's been a long time since I've done one of these on the channel, so I'm excited to do one of these videos again. My birthday actually happens to be in January, so fairly close to Christmas. So usually for Christmas and my birthday, I usually get a lot of books as gifts or book gift cards. So this year I decided to do a kind of a book call video for all the books I got for Christmas, birthday, or that I purchased with a gift card that I got for those two occasions. So that's the point of today's video. I hope you enjoy the haul. Before I get started, please hit that like button if you enjoy the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. And with that out of the way, let me just start the haul. I have divided the books up to fiction, non-fiction, and my Star Wars book, so I kind of broken down by that. So first off, I'll get started with fiction, and we have The Hunt for Red October by Clancy. The Hunt for Red October is one of my favorite movies. Actually, I love The Hunt for Red October. Watch it a few times every year because it's on TV a lot. But I actually have my own DVD copy, so it's if I ever go all out seeing it on TV, I can always pop that in. I always love the movie. I've never actually read the book. I've read a couple books by Clancy. It's not really a genre that I really read a whole lot, but I've read it in the past. I found them somewhat enjoyable, but it's one of those cases like I'd always kind of wanted to read this book because I love the movie so much. So I'll be interested to see how the movie compares to the book. How similar it is, what kind of changes they made, if I like the book better or prefer the movie. My guess is I'll probably prefer the movie better just because that's what I fell in love with. So now I'm kind of basing the book off my experiences with the movie, but who knows, maybe the book will absolutely blow me away. But anyway, I'm looking forward to reading this one. Next up, you have Devolution by Max Brooks. Many of y'all might be familiar with Max Brooks. Yeah, he wrote World War Z, The Zombie Survival Guide. Really love both those books in the writing style where it was a fiction book but is written in a non-fiction style. I actually purposely haven't looked much into what this book is about because I want to kind of go in fresh and I get spoiled. But I basically know, all I know is from the subtitle, Devolution, a first-hand account of the Rainer Sasquatch Massacre. So just the way the subheading's done, it makes it sound like to me it's written in a very similar style where it's written in a non-fiction style but for a fiction book, which I really enjoy. And obviously since Sasquatch is mentioned and also by the cover, I'm guessing it's about Bigfoot. So I'm really excited about this because like I said, I really loved World War Z and the Zombie Survival Guide, so I'm really excited to read this new book from Max Brooks. Next up is another follow-up book from an author I really enjoy, Ernest, Cline, and that's Ready Player 2. Loved Ready Player 1. Awesome book. Ernest Cline's second book, Armada. Really enjoyed it, not quite as much as Ready Player 1, but still enjoyed it. So when I heard there was coming out a sequel for Ready Player 1, I was like, I'm not sure if the book needed a sequel, but I'm still excited to read it because I loved Ready Player 1 so much. Again, I've purposely been avoiding reviews for this one because I actually asked for this book for Christmas. My mom often asks me if there's any specific books I'd like to get. She very rarely buys, especially a fiction book, without knowing it's something that I want to read. And I specifically said, well, I know this is coming out. If you could get me that, I'd really appreciate it. So since I knew I was going to get it, I purposely avoided any reviews because I wouldn't, if people are going in like, oh, it's awful, I didn't want it to sway my viewpoint, or if people are saying like, oh, it's mind-blowingly good, I would kind of want to go in and get fresh like I am for the Max Brooks book. So Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, we'll see how it stacks up to Ready Player 1. So that's it for the fiction novels, non-Star Wars related. Next I'll go into non-fiction. First up, I got The Ultimate Book of Trivia, The Essential Collection by Scott McNeely. A lot of my friends know I am one of those types of people that just remembers randomly facts, so I'm really good at trivia. Very popular to have on your team for Trivia Night, and we can actually do those in person again. I've tried out for Jeopardy a few times, never made it to the actual in-person test, but I'm one of those type of people that have always done really good on trivia type stuff. So a couple of times I've had friends give me kind of stuff like this, and I always enjoy it because I always find just random little facts interesting. So I'm kind of interested to see what kind of facts this book covers, so we'll see what I learn from it. Next up is The Accidental President, by A.J. Baime, B-A-I-M-E. Sorry, I mispronounced that name. This book is about Harry Truman. I've always found Harry Truman a very interesting president, but I've actually never read a book just about Truman. So I'm kind of interested in reading about his presidency and his life in general, I'm assuming. Just focus on him, because a lot of times Truman does get overshadowed by other figures. Obviously, he succeeded FDR. He's involved in the end of World War II, so just the events of World War II tend to overshadow him. He was succeeded by Eisenhower, another larger-than-life figure in American history. So a lot of times Truman tends to get overlooked by the figures that were around him and everything going on. He was there for obviously the beginning of the Cold War. So a lot of times actually those events and the other people he was around kind of overshadow his legacy. But in reality, he's one of the more important presidents in American history. So I'm really excited to read this book. Next up is actually one of the books I got with a gift card, In the Garden of Beast by Erik Larson. Erik Larson is one of my favorite nonfiction writers. Actually, I love the books I've read by him. This book is specifically about the U.S. ambassador in Germany pre-World War II, when the world still didn't really know what the Hitler and the Nazis were about. And really this book covers the ambassador and his family experiences in Berlin, kind of coming to the realization of what the Nazis were all about. I'm sure I really will love this book just because I've enjoyed everything I've read by Erik Larson. My sister's actually read this book and she highly recommended it. And a lot of times we do have similar taste, I should say, in non-fiction books, so I'm sure I'll find this one awesome. Next up is another book I got with a gift card. It's the Library Book by Susan Orlean. This book is about, which I don't really remember this event, and maybe it's because I'm from Georgia and this didn't really get covered much in Georgia since it happened on the West Coast in LA. But in the 80s, the Los Angeles Public Library experienced a tremendous amount of damage by a huge fire. Now looking at the date, maybe that's why I don't remember it, because I was only 3 years old then. For some reason I was thinking it was in the 90s, but it's the 80s. This library was actually destroyed and destroyed or damaged over 1 million books. And that's why I was looking at the back cover. I was trying to remember how many books. For some reason I was thinking 100,000, but I was glad I looked because it's actually in the millions. So this book looks at the story behind the fire. Was it intentionally set? If so, why? And then kind of taking a broader look at like the role that libraries and books just play in people's lives. As somebody that loves to read, I found this concept very interesting. I'd actually never heard of this book, and then I was doing some Christmas shopping in the fall, and was kind of browsing sections to try to find a book for somebody I was getting a gift for, and I saw just this title. Oh, that looks interesting. This person loves to read. They're very passionate about reading and libraries and stuff like that, and I picked it up, read the back, and I was like, well, this sounds really interesting, and so I got it for her as a gift. But it's like at the same time it put that book in my mind. So when I went back to the bookstore and buying gift cards, I said, I think I want to check this book out. It sounded really interesting as when I was buying it as a gift. So I'm excited to read this because it's kind of interesting. I don't know if I've really read a nonfiction book that's kind of geared about books and libraries and stuff like that. So should be interesting. Looking forward to reading it. The Library Book, again, by Susan Orlean. Alright, that was the nonfiction books. Next on here are the Star Wars books. First is Star Wars X-Wings book and model. So apparently the book tells you a little bit about X-Wings, and then actually you get a little model kit to make X-Wing. So that's interesting. Actually, one of my coworkers gave this to me as a birthday gift, partly because they saw I did a big Lego set, a Star Wars Lego set after Christmas, and they thought, hey, maybe he'll enjoy a Star Wars model. So I've actually never made a Star Wars model. I've only done the one large Lego set and a couple of really small Lego sets for Star Wars stuff. So we'll see how I enjoy doing a Star Wars model. Maybe a new hobby I'll pick up in the year. Next up is actually the last book I got with a book gift card. It's the main reason I actually went to the bookstore. Is to get the newest book out in Star Wars. It's the first novel in the High Republic series, which is the new series that they're launching in Star Wars. It's basically kind kind of covering the period of history in Star Wars, kind of, I think if I remember correctly, about 200 years before the events of the original trilogy movies. So basically it's kind of covering like the high point of the Jedi Order and the Republic and what that was like before everything started to crash down. I've always been interested to kind of read about that period of Star Wars history. It hasn't really been covered a whole lot, especially on the movies and TV shows. It's kind of been almost treated as ancient history. So I'm interested in reading this book, A Lot of the Jedi by Charles Soule. And we'll see how I enjoy the book. If I do, this will probably be a series I'll read and get all the books in the High Republic. I know they're also doing stuff in comic books and like YA books and kid books. I probably won't do those. I'll probably just stick to the novels. I only have so much time in my life. I can't read everything that comes out in Star Wars. So for now, I'm going to stick to the novels. So, but I'm really excited to read the start of this new series that honestly to me sounds very promising. And the last book I got was Star Wars On the Front Lines by Daniel Wallace. This is kind of a art pictorial history book. And it kind of covers like major battles in Star Wars history and major military leaders in Star Wars history. Kind of interested in reading it. I've read a couple like more of the art Star Wars books, but they seem like a combination of like an art book / encyclopedia type thing. So that could be interesting because I've read some in both those genres where it's almost like a non-fiction Star Wars book, but non-fiction within the Star Wars universe. So that should be interesting reading. I always enjoy Star Wars artwork. It's always so beautiful. So that's my book haul. Honestly, I probably won't have to go to the bookstore again the rest of the year because I already have a lot of books waiting to be read. So probably won't do another book haul video in 2021. Honestly, probably the only other books I'll get this year are books for current series I'm reading that new books come out. So for example, the newest book in the Thrawn series of books that Timothy Zahn is writing for Star Wars is supposed to come out this year. I'll go get that book, for example. But I doubt I'll be going to the bookstore anymore this year and buying like 4 or 5 books because honestly, I need to shorten my to-be-read pile because it was already long and now it's a lot longer after all those books. But really excited to read those. Let me know in the comment section below if there's a certain one of those books you're really interested in about. Did you get a big book haul for Christmas? If so, let me know what books you got for Christmas that you're excited about. Even though I said I got plenty of books at the moment, I'm always kind of an eye out for some stuff to put on my list of the next time I do buy books, some ones I need to check out. So again, hope you enjoyed the video. As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are not a subscriber yet. And always, happy reading, and I'll see you the next time.